I switched schools about 8 different times by the time I was in 2nd grade. So I became that really shy, reclusive child that didn't like to talk to anyone, but it was very challenging to meet new people. But God always sends someone to meet you there halfway. I remember as a kid, I wasn't popular in school. I was at my wit's end, and remember, in the middle of the night, I just prayed to God, can I please have a best friend? Hi, everybody. Happy Sabbath. Hello. My name's Connie. I'm not sure if you guys have seen me around church. I've been attending for going on 3 years now. So, hello. It's good to see you all. See some familiar faces. They asked me to come and speak today about challenges in our lives and how God helps you overcome them. And I thought that was pretty fitting for them asking me to come for my first time, because my whole life, even though it's pretty short so far, feels like a pretty big obstacle. And it started pretty young, closer to some of you guys' age. So I know we have kids here in elementary school, middle, and high school and beyond here. So I'm going to try to rewind the clock for me a little bit and go back to the early 2000s when I was in elementary school to talk about how you guys can go over some challenges too. Before I begin any of my story, has anyone in here ever not been Adventist? No, just me. Okay, that's all right. I'm pretty sure we can still relate to some things anyway. Because a lot of times when you get older, and even kids in high school, not just parents or older siblings, they forget that when you're younger, like in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, you guys still have some hard things to get through too. I remember I did, for sure. What are some things you guys struggle with?
School.
What do you struggle with in school? What's hard? Socializing? Is that the hardest part so far? Subjects? Talking to girls? Okay. That's okay, because everyone has trouble talking to everybody. You are not alone. That's true. It's hard to get past that. I experienced a lot of trouble getting to know people when I was younger because of how often I changed schools. Has anyone ever changed schools before? How many times? 3 times? What about you? Twice? What about you? 3 times? 3 times? 3? So about 3 here. So you guys know how it feels. Have you ever changed in the middle of the year? Or is it always at the beginning? Mid? It's really tough middle of the year, isn't it? Have you ever had to change transitioning between like elementary to middle school, and then you go to a different middle school and you thought you were going to go to? Yeah, that's rough too, because then you expect to go see some friends, and then there are none, and you're brand new. Well, when I was going through elementary school, I switched schools about 8 different times by the time I was in 2nd grade. So that's really, really rough. So I'm meeting new people just about every single month. So I became that really shy, reclusive child that didn't like to talk to anyone because, hey, maybe in a few weeks, maybe we're moving again. So perhaps I won't have friends for that long. But each and every single time I move schools, God is so merciful even to the children who don't know him, because I did not know Jesus yet, not when I was in elementary school. And he always had someone there who would come and approach and talk to me. It never failed at every single school I switched to, whether it was in elementary when I went through those 8 schools. I went through 2 more in middle school. And then I switched from one in high school when I thought I was going to one place with a friend, and then I went to a place where I knew nobody. At least I stayed in high school. But it was very challenging to meet new people. But God always sends someone to meet you there halfway. So even when you don't listen, God's preparing things for you to help you meet those challenges. So when you're looking around at school and you're struggling to meet people, just keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, because somebody might be coming up to you that's going to be your best friend that God designed for you. And you may not have even have known it, and he was planning for you to meet the entire time. That is something similar that happened with me and my friend Brianna here. I didn't meet her until high school, and then freshman year, I ignored her entirely. When I was brand new to the entire district, to the area, to the high school, I ignored her, and she sure tried to talk to me. She did, and I wasn't having any of it because it was a rough time for me, switching to new schools, leaving behind who was my best friend at that time. So I didn't want any part in what she had to say to me at all. But my sophomore year, we got stuck in a class together, and we didn't know anyone else in that classroom, only each other from one class we had the previous year. And then we had to do partners on the first day of school in class. I bet you all know how that feels. Go in there and they're like, hey guys, find a buddy, and everyone has a buddy but you. Yeah, it was just like that. But we saw across the room, we're like, I know that face, so I'm gonna go with it. So God has a sense of humor too. He shoved us together anyway. And now she practically lives at my house on the weekends. So you never know what God's gonna set up and throw your way. Brianna, did you have anything to say for that part about the friendship?
I remember as a kid, I wasn't popular in school. Some of you can relate to that. You know, you're quiet, you're alone, but you want that friend. And finding a best friend is like finding a gold coin in the haystack. It's nearly impossible to find because people are hard. They could lie, they could cheat you, they could stab you behind your back. I bet you've been in some dramas with your friends too over things that, why was this an issue to begin with? Whether it be other friends or talking, why are you talking to the guy I like and stuff like that? Or even can you help me? It's cheat in school. That's another popular one I ran into growing up. But these are the things that we deal with. And so when you find that best friend, you never want to let go. But growing up in elementary, I was alone. And I played friendly. I even became someone that I didn't like. But in order to fit in with the crowd, I molded myself to get that relationship that I craved so much. And unfortunately, it didn't do me very well because sometimes I'd come home with bruises. And that was in 4th grade. And it was rough. And I didn't notice it until my mom was like, hey, who are you hanging out with? Because every time you come home, you have a bruise. Either it's on your arm, your legs, or whatever. Who's messing with you? Who's bullying you? And then that's when we had that conversation. And then I was like, oh no, this isn't the friend I'm looking for. So I had to cut it off. And so I was struggling again alone, but now I know better to look for better friends, better relationships. I was at my wit's end. And remember, in the middle of the night, I just prayed to God, can I please have a best friend? Can I please have it? And it was quiet through elementary. He didn't answer it right away. He waited and waited all through middle school. That was also rough because middle school is the awkward years. You have everyone in their cliques. You're already an outcast, so you're still an outcast. But now there's a clique of outcasts. So you're in there, but you don't feel like you belong really because they're close. And then you're kind of just there listening and all that. Some of you know what I'm talking about. I see some nods out there. But then when high school came, and I remember she did ignore me freshman year because we actually had was it English? History and English. We had a class there, and I was, again, trying to find that friendship, trying to be friendly, and she completely ignored me. She did. She'd look at me and look the other way. She was so rude. But God was so good. He gave us history the following year. And I, this time, went to ignore her because I'm like, well, she didn't want to talk to me in freshman, so I don't want to talk to her sophomore year. But again, the teacher's like, find a buddy. You can work alone, but there's a buddy for you. And again, we were the last two in the room. So we're like, all right, even though she ignored me, maybe we can work this out painlessly. And so there we went. That's how the friendship began. And little did I know, it's been, 12 years? Something like that, yeah. Half of our lives we've been together. And now I can say she's a sister in Christ with me. It's such a privilege. This is God's answer for my prayer for a best friend. It was Connie, because never in my wildest dreams would I picture Connie coming to Christ and getting baptized, because that was just not the person she was when I first met her. She was not religious. She didn't even know Adventism. She didn't know anything. But then little by little, as the years went on, she got to know him more and more. Questions started coming up. And well, I did the best I could with the information I had because I still had to fix things myself. And sooner or later, she said, okay, what church do you go to? Can I get Bible studies? Can I get baptized? And that's where we are today. That's the reason why she's here, all from a prayer. So never underestimate the prayers you pray in the middle of the night. They're strong and powerful, and even though they might not be answered right away, God hears it and will deliver it to you in time. So always remember that.